역시 나를 반기는.
Is it me or did the old ones
문 열자마자 나를 반기는
funny how
물음표들,
at a close?
느낌표들.
So this
이제 한 명이 더
data is from
늘었어.
Aloy.
Right to
뭐
work, I see.
데메테르랑도 얘기해야
There's
되지
just
않을까?
so
아니
much.
가이아였나?
I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing. And you, a
포커스
true
새 거 받았어?
reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars.
정말
Of
액션이
course,
많은
they're trying
친구구나.
to kill us, which is
이
not
좋은
great.
친구들 나랑은 좀
And
안
Eric
맞아.
Visser is with them,
저런
which is
스타일이랑 좀 안
disturbing.
맞거든요.
And then there's Hephaestus, and
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
you're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall.
I imagine
다들
you don't know anyone
인사했니?
here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because one of your friends is, well, another you. Not that you are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobeck, but even so, you're different.
Yeah, we are. I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
애들이 사람을 참
Of course.
좋아해. 그래서
They've
아마
all
잘
been
해줄 거야.
extremely welcoming. And they share the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely.
사람을 너무 좋아해.
It's refreshing. Back home, diviners can only share data with the permission from the overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the overseers would actually let us study.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them. But I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
You mentioned Eric Visser? How do you know
아유미
about him?
비서야?
The Zenith who tried to kill
나는
you?
비서인 줄 알았네.
He is known to the Quen as the Protector. Combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors. But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
Well, at least you're piecing together the truth.
If only the overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena, and Gerard.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever legacy they left behind, the diviners haven't recovered.
오!
Back at the greenhouse,
왜
you
이렇게
spoke
많아?
of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire, like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CEO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Pharaoh, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Pharaoh, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Pharaoh spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named CEO, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire. The living embodiment of Ted Pharaoh, a renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse, but nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door, and more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CEO became was a complete perversion of what principled diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
So, Bohai, your overseer.
보아이도
Will he run
싹
things
그렇게
better than
마음에
CEO?
들진 않긴
He won't execute people on a
한데
whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right. The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners, peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
It sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
그럼 다 된 건가? 그럼 아니요.
I need to get going, but if you need anything,
All I need is to help you succeed in your mission. The plan Gaia told me about to capture Hephaestus, it will help set things right.
I hope so.
Then I will do whatever I can. I promise.
자, 그러면 나머지 또 남아있고 다음 어우 이거에 우리 그분 친구도 있지 않을까? 느낌표? 되어있네. 정말 이걸로 또 한 편 뚝딱 할 수 있을 것 같은 그런 느낌.
Aloy,
그렇다
well met.
너의
We've been
캐스는
briefed on our mission and are ready
언제?
whenever you wish to head to Cauldron
아직
Gemini.
모르겠어요.
Were you
아,
able to
투기전
finish
좀
the
해야
new
되나,
arm Gaia
진짜?
was helping you with?
Indeed.
어!
I
드디어 할
was
수 있네.
hoping we
이분
could discuss
할
it
해드려야지,
if you
의수.
have a moment.
Have you spoken with Alva?
The Quen is peculiar. Nothing like a Tenakth. Her mind is sharp, that much is certain. But it's hard to imagine her surviving in the wilds.
Trust me.
아니에요. 겁내 잘
She's
살아났어요.
tougher than
의외로
she is.
알바생은 강합니다.
I will take your
굉장히
word
강해요.
for it.
CEO도 담궈버렸다고? 물론 저 친구가 담근 건 아니긴 하지만.
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more about the world of the Old Ones.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for, and learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was wiped out by a mistake. A single miscalculation. There is no glory or honor in such a fate. Only hubris and pointless death.
That about sums it up. You wanted to talk about your arm?
Indeed. It's time to test it. And I want you to be there.
Okay. How are we doing this?
Not how. Where.
뭐라고요? 트레머
Will you meet me
터스크를
where we found
잡자고요?
Gala's tremor tusk,
선생님,
right where the
정도를
river bends?
모르시네.
Sure, if you want, but
혼자
I'm not
잡으셔야
sure I
됩니다.
understand.
그러면 테스트니까.
You'll see when we get there.
나한테
I promise.
헬프 치면 안
then I'll let
됨.
you know when I get close.
You have my thanks, Aloy.
대신 그 터스크의 부속품은 내 거임.
I have to go now.
Then do not let me keep you.
Like I said, I'll call you when I'm close to Regala's old outpost near the bulwark.
아,
May
그때
the
거기
Ten guide your way.
텐가인 도대체 언제 보는 건데요? 다음? 아, 나 블랙박스도 이제 하나 남았어요. 보라색으로 바뀌었는데? 개 좋은 거 줬어. 2단계 위. 대형 코어도 얻었다. 그럼 이거 업그레이드 가능할 것 같은데? 얘들아, 나와 대화. 웨이.
There she is. Heard you had an interesting time at Thebes.
Maniacs, lava, what's not to like?
I'll remember that next time I go traveling.
At least I got what we needed to trap Hephaestus.
Good thing I got my gear ready then.
최종이니까 진짜 개빡세겠지?
Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Errand. I should get going.
as soon as you want us heading out to those cauldrons.
I'll give you the heads
아,
up.
그 가마솥이 거긴가 보다. 아까래. 저번에 들어갔다가, 어디지? 그냥 빠꾸 먹었던데. 여기. 그러니까, 재민이 여기네. 여기가 최종 가마솥이네요. 하지만 그러면 나는, 제가 개인적으로 이 가마솥 하나 있는 거 하고, 그리고 여기 톨렉이 있거든요? 톨렉하고, 나서 가면 될 듯? 이제 녹화 따로 안 뜨고요. 제가 알아서 하도록 하겠습니다. 아, 여기 블랙박스 여기 하나 있네. 여기도 봐. 이제 베타방 못 들어가네? Why? 베타 거부한 거임? 진짜? 그냥 베타랑 얘기를 하려고 아래로 왔는데 안 되네요. 이거 깰 수 있나? 아유, 그냥 안 되는 거임? 장식품이야? 안 되는 거요. 그러면 이제 개. 예. 블랙박스 넣고 가이아랑 얘기하고 하면 될 듯. 가이아 웨이. 아, 나 그리고 이제 블랙박스가 단 하나 남았는데 이거 다 모으면 또 뭐 주지 않을까? 나 얼굴 페인트 주면 화낼 거야. 아, 뭐야, 이거 요즘 2개네? 아, 블랙박스는 별개구나. 물박 가야 되는데.
Aloy, I know your experience in Thebes was unsettling,
어때요?
but we have a new problem.
아니, 여기서 다들 아무것도 안 하는데 문제 처리는 님들이 해주시면 안
Will
되는
we be able
걸까?
to transport you to Gemini?
The rig is complete. The problem is Hephaestus itself. It has accelerated its proliferation throughout the Cauldron network, increasing its power.
But with your sub-functions restored, we can still succeed, right?
Correct. But the net effect
Correct.
is that absorbing Hephaestus will take longer than previously calculated.
How long?
Even with Omega clearance, my current estimate is that the merge will take 35 hours.
And each hour increases the risk of detection by the Zeniths.
내가 총대 매야 되나?
2 cores. 2 overrides. What if the merge were carried out by 2 clones of Elizabeth Sobek, both armed with Omega clearance? How long then? Half the time?
Hephaestus would be unprepared for the simultaneous labor of 2 operators, in addition to obvious synergetic efficiencies. Calculating. It would reduce the merge time to approximately 4.5 hours.
Okay. Varl, it looks like we're gonna need
근데
the
나
Gemini.
지금 딴 데 안 한 거 돌아다니려면 시간 엄청 걸릴 텐데 그 중에 그 해두면 되지 않을까요? 시간 충분하실 것 같은데 저 지금 거의 100시간
Are the pulse
찍었거든요,
generators
플레이?
ready?
Only a final test remains. I am confident that if fired in proximity to other cauldrons, the pulses will mask our activities at Gemini from the zeniths.
Good. As long as Aaron can operate one without shooting himself in the face.
Aloy, you better get down here. Beta's in
베타
bad shape.
문고로 잠그고 있지만
Okay.
이것 때문에 그랬던 건가? 아르리랑 대화를 해야 돼? 선생님 아직 느낌표 남아서 마저 하고 가야 돼. 아니면 또 왔다 갔다 해야 되잖아?
Aloy,
아,
I
얘기 안
believe
해주실
Varl
거예요?
is still wait
I know.
as you wish.
괜찮아. 얘기해요. 관대하네!
How's all of us?
유도리가
having it?
있구만. 이 선생님.
As soon as she arrived, Alva was eager to study the data in the archive.
알바
A
지금
particular
신났어.
file soon caught her attention. Information about a machine assistant devoted to keeping living spaces neat and orderly. I informed her that once I am empowered with the abilities of Hephaestus, I may be able to design such a machine.
I'm sure she'll like that. So our plan to capture Hephaestus. Let's go over it again.
벌써 돼지포도 나 나중에 까먹을 것 같은데.
Thanks to Beta's test, we now know that Hephaestus will not respond to your alpha clearance.
Which is why I got Ted Farrow's Omega clearance.
Correct. While you were gone, Beta constructed the transport rig and pulse generators. When we get to Gemini, I will need to be installed on one of the facility's cores. The second core is for Hephaestus. Using Omega clearance will allow you to trap it.
And then you'll be able to absorb it.
Not quite. You will need to manually remove Hephaestus's malicious code before the merge.
How long will that take?
Because the work will be split between you and Beta, it will take approximately 4.5 hours.
And during that time, the others will create a distraction for us using the pulse generators, right?
Correct. They will each take position at a cauldron door and fire off their device. The energy surge should mask our activities until the merge is complete.
And then we'll have everything we need to defeat the Zeniths. Sounds like a plan. So I, found Thebes. What do you think Ted would have done if his life extension treatments had worked?
It seems he convinced himself it was his duty to guide future humans. Given the tribal nature of new humans, and his ability to use Omega clearance on the terraforming system, I imagine he would have convinced one or more tribes to worship him as their patriarchal deity.
Okay. Yep, glad that didn't happen. Aside from Gaia Prime and Thebes, there was one other underground facility that was sealed before the Pharaoh Plague reached it. Elysium. The place where Zero Dawn staff and their families went to live out their lives. Do you know what happened to it?
Elysium was designed to provide life support for 100 years. My data indicates the facility went offline well before then.
Did the Pharaoh Plague find them?
Unknown. My connection to the facility was abruptly severed.
The missing subordinate functions.
갑자기 까만 배경이
What can you
생겼어.
tell me about them?
정확해.
Artemis rewilded the
왜요?
Earth with
갑자기
a
왜요?
variety of animal species. Eleuthia was responsible for
설마
gestating,
예전
nurturing, and
자막에
culturing a
오타
new
있어서 이걸로
generation of
버프
human
씌우는 거 아니죠?
beings. Apollo was tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives of human knowledge and cultural achievements. Unfortunately, all archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February 2066 by order of Ted Pharaoh.
Ted. Guess he got what he deserved, in the end.
Yes. An igneous
그러니까
conclusion
병적인
to his
자기애.
pathological narcissism, impulsive tendencies, and instability.
All three of the missing functions have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
Restoring their remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density, empowering my overall function. Unfortunately, as we now know they are in the possession of Far Zenith, attaining them in the short term is very likely impossible.
I guess our best shot at recovering them is by taking over the Zenith base. But we'll need Hephaestus and a bunch of combat machines to do that.
Correct.
헤파이스토스 하고 나서도 왠지 최종 그게 있을 것 같은데.
I'll be off.
최종
Farewell, for now.
흑막이라 해야 되나? 보스전 같은 게 있을 것 같은데. 설마 가마솥에서만 끝나진 않겠지.
Aloy,
문 닫혀 있던디? 아니. 아, 정문인 줄 알았지.
I tried, but it's impossible. I don't think anything will convince her to
여기
go.
있으라 그래.
We don't have a choice.
Good luck.
Beta, you have to come with us.
메탄
It's
여기
the
있어.
only way.
가봐야 거기서 멘탈 터져가지고 먹을
It's
것
one
같은데.
mission. The most important one. We need you. Tell me why you won't go. What if they take me back? Alone. In a cell again.
아, 그럼 또 구해줄게.
Their slave.
그럼 다시 구해주면 되잖아.
Forever.
먹방 갇히기 전에 내가 지켜줄게.
Varl and I will be at Gemini too.
지금 가슴으로
I'll
말해야 한다.
protect you. As soon as we get
감동을
Hephaestus, we
울려야
come
해.
straight back here. The Zeniths
냉정하게
aren't going
가면
to find
오히려
us.
더 정떨어지거든요.
You don't have to be afraid.
내가 지켜줄게.
No!
안
You can't
믿어?
protect me. Nothing can protect me from
나
them.
주인공인데 안 믿어?
I told you from the beginning we'll never beat them. It's hopeless.
아우, 그냥 여기 있어 그러면.
Beta. Leave me alone. You don't
감마
understand.
찾자. 안 되겠다. 베타 노답 감마 찾자.
You're right. I don't understand. We have the same genes, the same mind, the same heart. So why can't you find the strength to do what has to be done? Like Elizabeth would. Don't you think I've thought about that? I don't know what piece of Elizabeth I'm missing. I don't know what you have that I don't. I look through all the data from your focus. You were raised as an outcast, shunned, and isolated just like me, so what's the difference? What's my defect?
아버지야. 아버지다.
Beta, you don't have a defect. Beta, look, it's not a piece of Elizabeth. The difference is, I had him. Frost.
이렇게 유전보다 환경이 중요합니다.
Or loving. The day he died, the day he gave you that charm, he was going to abandon you. He wanted me to embrace the tribe. But then he gave his life for mine. He loved me in his own way. And that was enough. What did it feel like? It was like having a strength that was always there. It's still there. Even now I hear him in my head when things get bad. When it looks impossible, look deeper. And then fight like you can win. You don't have to go on the mission. We'll find another way. I'll go. You said you'd try to protect me. I believe
너도
you.
어느 정도 밥값을 해야 내가 지켜준데 지금 내가 지킬 사람이 너무 많거든요? 나 생으로 지켜주지
You have to
못하는데?
promise me one thing.
생명보험 하나 들자.
Of course. If it goes bad, if the Zeniths find us, I don't want to be their slave again. Do you understand? Okay. Promise? I promise. I could use as much time as you can give me to study up on the merge, to make it as
알 거야.
efficient as
내가 지금
possible.
해야 될 게 많거든? 가마솥도 하나 더 털어야 되고. 충분할 것이요.
I'll be ready when you are. I swear.
두세 번 복습도 할 수 있을걸? 요즘 너무 바빠서 게임할 시간이 없어요. 저 그리고 앞으로 2주 동안 쉬는 날이 없습니다. 계속 일을 해야 해요. 주말도
Whenever you're
평일도
ready,
할
come
거
speak
없이
to me and I'll ask the others to make final
뭐예요?
preparations for the mission.
아니야 가이야 기다려. 아 얘는 또
I just don't
느낌표야.
get this last part.
노랗.
We can look at it together later.
일단 한 명만 간봐보자.
Have
어떤
a
대화에 대해서.
conversation about it.
Hey, I thought I'd check in before leaving for Gemini.
아 이건 아예
Are you sure we
최종이네.
shouldn't be
전에
checking up on you? Whatever went on between you and Beta sounded
다 들렸어?
intense.
마음이
Not that I'm judging. Forge knows all the screws flew loose every time Mercer and I fought.
I think we'll be fine from now on.
I'm glad to hear it.
분명히 또 있어.
Anybody take you up on that ale you brought yet?
Zoe can't stand the smell of it. I tried Alva, but I don't think she knows what taking a break means. And I'm not putting Varl anywhere near that stuff after that victory
뭔술
party in
하셨나?
Meridian.
가이아랑 드시지.
What about Catalo?
Ah, now there's a man that can hold his liquor. Pretty sure we downed half a keg. We had a good
역시
chat,
포탈로랑
I think.
현관 찐친 된다니까.
After we get Hephaestus, we'll be taking the fight to the Zeniths. So, no more reading.
아니야
wasn't that
3편에
bad.
데뷔해야지. 얘가
Not
2편에서
really.
죽지 않는다면
Besides, going through all that
3편이 이게 나올
data,
텐데 그
help
전에
me
숙제
realize
다
something.
해야 되지 않을까?
You know, the soldiers, the ones that fought the Pharaoh machines so Gaia could be built, they were fighting a battle that couldn't be won. Not with all the weapons in the world. I think most of them realized that, whether anyone said it or not. They still did it, though. They bought time for all the eggheads working to save the future. Our future. As long as I can do that for you, I'll consider myself a success.
Thank you, Erend. I'm glad you're with me.
Okay, enough. I'm gonna get emotional.
I should go.
Same here. I got a date with a cauldron to prepare for.
그러면 일단 이거 대화는 어차피 왜 또 뭔데? 최종적으로 여기 한 번 더 뭐 그 데이터랑 이런 거 모으면 와야 되니까 그때 얘기를 하도록 할게요.
Hope I'm not
예,
interrupting.
뭐
Not at
하청분도 뭐
all.
받고.
I was just studying the pulse generator schematics.
근데
The
생각이
ones
주는
Gaia
것이요?
and Beta built. The craftsmanship is remarkable. Is everything all right? It sounded like there was an
정말 이
issue
기지
with
방음
Beta
일도 안 되나 봐.
Not anymore.
막 지은 원룸이랑 다를 바 없는 건가?
Needed to talk some things through.
To understand one another is to embrace truth. Oh, and if you have a moment, there's something I could use your help with.
일단 얘기한 김에
Have you spoken
이것도
with Zoe
얘기해.
at all?
A
근데
little
이번
bit.
편 대화로 다 퉁치겠는데 이거 괜찮은 걸까?
I did hear her singing with Varl not too long ago. I don't think they noticed. Zoe seemed so
둘이 사겨.
free when she
그런
did it.
사이야.
Like
그러니까
every
그냥
emotion she had was
관심 안 줘도
taking
될 것 같아.
flight in song.
그냥
And
둘만의
she looked
세계거든?
happier because of it.
굳이 끼려고 하지 마.
I
거기에.
felt so dull and nervous in comparison.
You should ask Zoe to teach
네,
you
여기
sometime.
다 지금 짝이 있어요. 조랑 바를이
Maybe.
있고, 포탈로랑 에렌드 있고, 너는 베타랑 같이 친해져야 될라나?
If you need anything before heading out to the cauldrons,
You have nothing to worry about.
아니면 한 명
Gaia's
더
explained
동료를
your plan
구해올게
in
내가.
detail, as expected from such an efficient AI. I've even received some very succinct combat advice from Catalo. You know, in case the Zeniths show up.
what kind of advice?
He told me to run.
For now. We'll even the odds soon enough. Any more data catch your eye?
All of it? I have so much to study up on. Years, actually. I'm particularly interested in the Odyssey. We knew the ancestors had made it to the moon. In fact, we theorized some of them had settled on it. But Sirius is way farther than that. And we thought journeying across the ocean would be the feat of a lifetime. The sheer calculations needed for space travel. It's overwhelming to think about.
Even so, the Quen are way ahead of other tribes when it comes to understanding this stuff. Where I grew up, everyone thought that stars were sparks that rose from a fire lit by the goddess to guide us through the night. Must be strange to think that some of the ancestors your tribe reveres are still alive. And here on Earth, right now.
Yeah, it is. Part of me's curious to know who else besides Eric Visser might be among them. Maybe Nikita Arand? We call her the Spark. The legacy tells us she brought unlimited energy to the old ones. Or Sung Jiao, whom we call the Healer. It is said she found new ways to extend the ancestors' lifespans. But my curiosity fades when I think of how different our view of Visser was compared to the reality that you experienced. Perhaps it is better not to know.
You mentioned there was
어떤
something you needed help
하청이시죠?
with?
Yes.
그린하우스에 물음표가 하나 있었는데 아직 거기 갈 방법을 도저히 모르겠던데 이걸로 열리는 건가? 아니 내가 진짜 길을 못 찾는 거야. 리바이어던 되게 개센 보스 이름 같은데.
The legacy revealed that the old ones used it to control flooding. But we've never gotten it to work. The whole thing is shut down. But the data from the greenhouse mentions the research facility where Leviathan was created. It's in San Francisco.
Another Pharaoh facility?
No. Leviathan was a project by Eileen Sasaki, another ancestor. So the legacy tells us, anyway. If we can acquire that data, we might be able to fix the system back in the Great Delta. Every year, my sister gets terrified when the long rains begin. With Leviathan, maybe she won't have to be.
리바이어던이 무슨 게임에서 무슨 되게 큰 고래 같은 그런 괴물이었던 것 같은데? 아닌가?
That's the thing. The data doesn't say where exactly.
새로운 용왕님이랑 싸워야 되는 거
But one
아니지?
of our diviners has been exploring the ruins. He might know. Would you come with me? I have a feeling that wherever this facility is, well, you're much better at fighting machines than I am.
Of course. I'll let you know when I'm in landfall.
Thank you, Aloy.
I should go. Make sure you talk to Gaia if you have any questions about the pulse generators.
May your path lead to truth.
And like I said, I'll let you know when I'm in landfall. We'll find the data you're
가게
after.
되면 연락 감세.
I appreciate it.
금지된 내 것이 상륙지로 이동하기. 그러면 이거 얘네 대화는 나중에 하는 걸로 하고요. 가이아랑 대화하면 또 못 받고 될까봐 일단 보류. 네, 지금 코탈로 서브케 해줘야 되고, 그리고 이 친구 좀 전에 알바 친구 해줘야 되니까 얘네는 나중에 그리고 블랙박스랑 찾고 어쩌고 저쩌고 하고 이쪽으로 다시 와서 가마솥도 털고 그러고 최종전에 뭐 그게 진짜 최종전일지 어떨지 모르겠지만 돌입해 보는 걸로 하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이제 이로써 라스트 블랙박스 라스트고 다 얻었고요. 문탈라에게 가야 되는구나. 여기는 이 빼롱이도 있나? 해킹 이거 뭐지? 이거 싸워야 되는데? 여기 설마 나중에 최종 전투하는 데인가? 그 뭐죠? 마을마다 있는 전투 거기 싸우는 그런 막 그런 느낌인데? 여기? 오케이 블랙박스는 맞아 거기였지. 여기 왠지 그런 느낌이지 않습니까? 그런 싸우는 데인 것 같아. 그러면 저는 블랙박스 전달하러 가보도록 하겠습니다. 한종이 공유로 갈까? 이건 아닌 것 같은데? 이건 다른 분. 이거 후기 얘기해 주시는 것 같은데? 잘 지냅니까? 널리 알려주십시오. 저의 멋있었던 모습. 세상 순하게 생겨가지고 이래서 늦바람이 무섭습니다. 이
I
비행의
know a
길에
chaplain who was there.
뒤늦게 들어가니까
The deeds of the Ten have
정신 못
always
차리는 거지.
inspired us in battle. Now they will guide us towards peace as well. All thanks to you, Aloy.
오케이. 감사. 표정 왜 이렇게 찝찝해 보이죠? 뭐 대꾸도 안 해줘? 그 다음에 아니었고 이 사람이었어. 블랙박스 이 엿바꿔 먹을 수
Are
있거든요.
you the only one listening to these voices?
Oh,
다
no.
찾아옴
The others who
12개.
captured the
뭐 주실 거죠?
heard the voices from these ancient warriors too. They spread the word and
오래
now a lot of people are
기다리셨습니다.
talking about them. Soldiers are interested in old battles.
음성 기록에
Will the new voices I brought help you?
I don't know much about this other great battle.
이분
you said
그때
these recordings are
처음에
from.
한번 보고는 그 뒤로는
So
안
anything I can
봤어가지고
learn helps me
할 얘기가 많이
understand
쌓여
what
있을
these
수도
warriors
있어.
fought.
하지만
The
간결하게
locator
말씀해
beacon on the
주시니 너무
recordings has led me to
감사하고요.
others, but the signal doesn't always travel
이미
very
다
far.
찾았지만
You're lucky that
이미
the old ones
얘기해봄.
speak to you.
일단
I wish I
얘기해봄.
could hear their call.
그래.
Hey, I
다
have some more of the
주면
voices
뭐
you're
주실
looking for.
거죠? 일단 들어보고 줘야
I'm sure I
되겠는데
can learn much from them.
몇 바꿔 먹는 게 단가요? 12개. 막 많다. 아, 이제 얘네들 껌이거든요? 잡는 거? 껌인데 내가 지금 12개를 바꿔 먹을 수 있어요. 근데 이게 다 아마 12개일걸? 4개. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 그러니까 하나씩밖에 안 팔겠지, 이놈? 이 녀석? 일단 하나 해봐. 하나가 최대네. 나 일단 이건 필요하긴 해. 됐고. 그러면 이걸 해야지. 이거랑 바꿔 먹는 거니까 맞겠지? 나 저장했나? 빠른 이동하면서 자동 저장 됐겠지? 그러니까 하나씩밖에 안 되네. 그래도 그게 어디야? 개이득이지. 블랙박스 찾는 건 사실 그렇게 어렵진 않거든요? 간단스라 가지고 그냥 뭐 올라가고 뭐 이런 게 조금 귀찮은 거지. 나쁘지 않아. 그럼 다 가져가셨습니까?
That's the last of the voices I can detect.
12개.
You found them
전설로만
all.
좀 구비해 주시면
I was
좋겠는데 이런
worried that
수시
the
타산이 좀 안
Delvers would have
맞거든요?
looted them before they
물타기도
could be
아니고.
recovered.
제일
The voices
허접한
of
것과
these
제일
ancient
좋은 건
soldiers
물타기 하면
deserve to be
평균치
held in
아닙니까?
honor, not sold as entertainment. I will make sure everyone who comes to listen knows that it was you who saved them for
저
us.
taken by
From one
에일로이라고
recording
꼭
to all
써주십시오.
these, now I have the chance to learn so much about this forgotten war. Thank you. It will make me a better soldier, a better Tenakth.
굿너. 됐어. 그럼 뭐 안 줌? 그냥 끝임? 완료했는데 10인의 날개 획득. 저거 전설인데? 주황색이면? 슬림 주나 없다. 대박 사건 전설 또 얻었고요. 10인의 날개 대박. 폭탄이네. 코일 해줘야지. 서지는 이거 해줘야 되겠다. 즉시 감속 확률. 잘 안 쓰긴 한데. 그게 어디요? 그 다음에 터지는 건 없습니까? 여기 있네. 아, 파란색이네. 아숲. 아, 출장을 해야 되나? 드디어 제가 그걸 했습니다. 얘네 다 해줬거든요? 그랬더니 여기 다 모였네. 그리고 이런 출품되어 있네요. 졸작입니까, 졸작? 졸업작품 그거 한 거가. 아, 근데 똑같이 생긴 것 같은데 아닌가? 일단 말 한번 해봅시다. 캐르프씨. 내가 얼마나 셔틀을 해줬는데.
I gotta say, these are some good pieces.
그냥 전 보상만 받으면 됩니다. 전설 줬으면 좋겠네.
Each
내가
set
얼마나
has
힘들게
great
했는데.
parts, but overall,
그러니까 다들
none of
뭔가 좀
them scream
그래.
best in the West.
그 제일 오른쪽은 하이가 없나?
But not to worry, I might be able to pull in some favors. Sell
역시
these sets instead.
장사가 미래다.
What about the prize?
n분의
Well,
1이겠지?
no one really brought what I asked
이
for.
사람 혹시 양아치
So
아닐까?
I'll just keep that
되게
and
괜찮은 게
keep
있는데
going.
뭐 주기 싫으니까 이런 식으로 퉁치는 거 아닐까?
You've got to be kidding me.
This is unacceptable. After all the work we did,
아니 네가 고생했니
Not
내가
so fast,
고생했지?
Tariff. You said each set had great parts. So make a set that combines them.
She's right.
이걸 또
It'd
조각
make the
모으라는
perfect defense
사원의
against the
구슬이야
Forbidden
뭐야.
West.
그리고 그걸 절 주세요.
Creative and communal endeavor.
디자인은 구릴 것 같긴
I
한데
approve.
And since everyone came up with part of it,
n분의 1빵 하시고 그 모아서 절 주시고 방어구도 합쳐서 절 주시면 되겠네요. 왜냐면
Then just forge the armor, give it to me, and I'll take it
뭐
back east.
합치는 접착제 이런 것도 수확해와야 되는 거 맞지?
No. Let the savior of Meridian have it.
그러니까 날
She'll
줘.
test it out
돈도
properly.
날 줘. 솔직히 말해서 내가 다 해준 거잖아.
Best
니네는
armor in
텐트
the
앞에 서서 한
Forbidden
것도 없잖아.
Tested by the savior of Meridian herself. Not a bad selling point.
이 사람 뼛속까지 장사꾼이구만.
Okay, you all got yourselves
헐.
a deal.
근데
I'll
나도
go
옵션
get
구리면 안
things ready
씀.
with my business contacts then.
아무거나 입는
You do
사람
that.
아니거든요. 저도. 지금 이거 투기장에서 옷 드디어 새 거 하나 뽑아가지고 입고 있긴 한데
Don't go anywhere. This won't take long.
지금 이 전설급은 업그레이드하는 부품이 너무 빡세서 업그레이드를 못하고 있어요. 드레드 윙 서식지가
This
없어.
armor ought to be worthy of the greatest hunter in the Forbidden West.
옵션 좋은 거 주시고 디자인도
So,
그리면 조금
what
그런디.
now?
That little spot we found in the desert kind of grew on me. Wouldn't mind sticking around.
이제 각자
There's still plenty
지점으로
of
가
salvage to be done out here.
있으시겠구만.
Looks like we're all staying in the west.
그 선생님들 그냥
I guess
부품
I'll be
파실 때
seeing
돈
you
받으면 안
around.
되세요? 그 뭐야
Thanks
이상한
again
쪼가리 받지
for the
말고.
armor. You all put a lot into it.
그 좀 신상 좀 들여놔 주시고.
Using those
가서
behemoth
살피면서
parts for the armor. Would have never thought of
부품
that.
내가 씨 뭔가 얼마나
Paired up
힘들어.
nicely with your roller
너무
back
신상
salvage.
있냐?
Can't believe you actually hunted one down.
내가 했고요.
You played Karoof perfectly. Impressive.
그치. 손해는 못 참지.
Never seen Karif sweat that much.
그렇지. 양아친 것 같아.
You truly are an inspiration, little spark.
꼬마 불꽃 하니까 그거 생각난다. 하울에서
Making the armor
나오는.
with everyone was
How'd you manage to get such a
actually
perfect
kinda fun.
finish on your armor?
일단
I'm a
됐고요.
genius.
그래 자아자찬 서로들 하시고 뭐 주셨죠? 인사? 전설이다잉. 아 근데 합친 거 맞아? 합쳤는데 왜 옷이 좀 부족한 느낌이지? 아 근데 내가 공명기를 안 쓰는디. 근데 근접 공격 데미지랑 치명적 일격이 올라가기 때문에 근데 문제는 조각 이거 제가 해금을 해도 다 옷에 구멍 난 게 2개밖에 없어가지고 조작이 넣을 수가 없어요. 그래서 내가 지금 뭐랄까 사람 상대로 제가 가끔 근접을 쓰는데 기계 상대로는 근접 쓰기가 좀 애매해가지고 기계는 특히 그 뭐야 이거 속성이 중요하니까 공명이 귀찮아서 안 쓰는데 일단 네 잘 쓰겠습니다. 감사하고요. 다음 어디로 갈까나? 이제 그 서브 페이지로 가야 되나?
I think this is where Kotalo wanted to test out his new arm.
코탈로 이제 의수를
Didn't
위해
say how exactly.
호수를 한번 해봅시다. 그
Hey,
코끼리
Kotalo?
싸우러 가야 될
I'm
것
by the tremor
같은데?
tusk site where we agreed to meet. Want to test that new arm of yours?
네가 다 해야 돼. 결국 내가 다 해야 되는 거 아닐까? 의수는 착용감 테스트만 하는 거 아닐까?
Thank you for waiting.
Maybe now you can tell me what we're doing here?
Not just yet. Follow me,
나 새 옷
please.
샀다? 코탈로 나 뭐 변한 거 안 보이니? 나 뭐 바뀐 거 모르겠어?
Someone's being awfully mysterious.
You took
드디어
your sweet time
피카츄에서
telling me what you wanted
벗어났다고?
to do to the bulwark. Consider this my revenge.
Fair enough.
그래 뭐 그런 복수면 그렇다 치는데 나는 그냥 부품 수확만 하고 싶네. 테스트는 의수는 갖고 왔어? 왜? 칼은
This
갖고
is it.
왔는데
So,
저
Gretchen,
칼이
what am I looking at?
달린 의수는
Oh,
아닌데
you'll see.
뭔데? 미리 뭐 태그라도 해놔야지. 뭐 오냐? 큰 거 오냐?
All right, talk to me, Kotalo.
I wish to
큰
test
거
the
온다.
armor
발자국 소리 난다.
on that. It has menaced the valley for some
아,
time,
쟤는 그거 스코천가 그건 거 같은데 쟤는 그거 아니야? 최상위일 거 같은데?
but no longer.
귀 떨어뜨려야 돼요, 저거.
I'm honored to help.
오. 우와. 네 번째 손가락이 없는 것 같은데요? 부품이 모자랐어? 하나가? 아니요, 마지막 부품이 그건가? 네 번째 손가락? 왜 네가 먼저 가? 야, 테스트 네가 하는 거잖아.
Let's see how this thing likes the taste of
있어봐.
metal.
스코처의 미네, 흔적 강도, 전기. 일단 전기는 그렇다 치고 지뢰 발사기, 귀가 필요합니다.
No point using fire against that.
치사하게 나는 일단 부품을 좀 떼내고 싸우도록 할게요. 그리고 전기를 조금 깔아놔야 할 것 같고, 전기 깔고 나 잠깐 그걸 바꿔야 돼. 샵 귀. 이 완전 포탈로 오면 왠지 그거 할 것 같은데. 귀. 아, 야! 어그로 끌지 마. 아직 물음표야. 가지 마. 가지 마. 아니야. 포탈로 아니야. 귀 한쪽 더 남았단 말이야. 나 로즈를 테스트하고 싶은 마음은 알겠는데. 아니야, 기다려. 저 귀 떼고 등짝에도 떼긴 해야 돼. 일단 등짝은 둘째 치고. 오케이. 나 지금 저게 필요합니다. 업그레이드를 해야 하거든요. 포탈로 급발진하면 안 된다잉. 아, 귀가 아니라 등짝이 터졌어. 아, 저는 귀가 필요하다고요. 아, 이거 부품도 없어가지고 힘든디. 포탈로 저 무거운 거 들 수 있나 한번 테스트 해봐라. 포탈로 온다고. 급발진하면 안 된다잉. 아, 무거운 공격 너무 하고 싶은데. 개 큰 거 봐. 아니야. 나 귀 떼야 되는데. 귀 딱 떼. 아니, 코탈로. 귀. 아, 이거 함부로 발사 못하는데 얼마 없거든요. 귀. 이 정도면 떨어지겠지. 됐고. 아, 이건 비니고요. 옳지. 아, 잠깐. 포탈로가 테스트한데 얘야? 포탈로가 테스트를 해야 되는데. 아, 미친 재장전 아까 냄기대는 바람에. 어이! 기다려봐요. 나 이거 재장전 해야 돼. 포탈로 어그로 좀 끌어봐라. 재장전 해주시고. 나한테 오겠지? 그리고 가더라. 일로와. 지뢰 발사기가 없는 너는 쩔이다. 아프고 하지만 이거 아, 벌써 재장전이야? 놀았네. 빨리 해라. 온다요. 일로와. 여기 다 됐어. 조용히 해. 끝. 간단하고요. 아, 깜짝이야. 팜핑하러 가는데 갑자기 뭐 터지. 아유, 코탈로 내 건디. 심장이다. 대박. 심장 막 뽑아버리네.
Well, I think it's safe to say the new arm works fine.
너 별로 한 거 없잖아. 니네 어그로만 끌린 것 같은데. 그치. 심장을 뽑는 걸로 테스트하고 싶었던 거야. 정밀하게. 로봇 수술 있잖아요. 그래서 이거 적출. 힐러로 가는 거지 이제. 왜 팔 뗐어? 그냥 없이 한다고. 아니, 평소에도 차고 있어야 익숙해져서 더 자유자재로 하지 않을까. 너 이제 최종 전투 가야 되는데. 뭔데? 심장? 나 스코치 뭐 필요하긴 해.
I'll see you later then.
The ten be with you, Aloy.
나 10인 무기 받았어. 그냥 얘는 심장이 뽑고 싶었었나 보다. 오케이. 포탈로를 도움. 잠깐만요. 시체 없어진 거 아니지? 아까 깜짝이야. 내어놓고. 중추신경이 필요했었나? 나 귀 아까 안 주웠는데요. 귀는 아까 금색이었던 것 같은데? 아니야, 귀가 저기까지 튕긴 건 아니겠지, 설마. 아니야, 이거 박스잖아. 귀 어디 갔죠? 귀. 오, 안 돼. Oh no. 이거 뭐지, 저거. 보라색 뭐 보는데? 여기까지 튄 건 아닐 거 아니야. 이거 박스 아니? 아니요. 아니요, 귀 주세요, 귀. 아, 내가 기껏, 이거 화살까지 써가면서. 역시 아까 파밍했어야 된다. 코탈로 지가 죽어간 거 아니야? Oh no, 안 돼요. 안 돼요. 내가 아까 죽었나? 코탈로 이 자식. 아니, 귀. 말도 안 돼. 역시 아까 그때 죽었어야 되는데. 아까 죽었나? 소집. 귀. 제발 귀. 이거 맞나? 아니, 원래 몇 개 있긴 했거든요? 이걸 또 분해를 할 수가 있네. 근데 업그레이드 할 게 태산이라서 이거는 또 안 된단 말이지. 나 안 준 거 같은데? 자동으로 보진 않았을 테고. 무슨 일이야, 이거. 이거 이제 그 알바 친구 퀘스트를 하러 왔거든요? 이게 뭐냐면, 이제 진짜 얼마 안 남았어요. 근데 워낙 이 게임이 사이드 퀄리티가 좋다 보니까 그냥 넘기기엔 좀 아까워서 웬만하면 하나하나 다 하고 있거든요? 정말 가벼운 퀘스트는 그냥 제가 개인적으로 하는 경우도 있고, 이제 알바 같은 경우는 좀 비중이 좀 높아 보여서, 이제 뭐 편집에도 넣으려고 하려고 하는데, 제가 정말 양해 말씀을 드리는 게, 제가 요즘 업로드가 굉장히 느리잖아요. 그 이유가 제가 지금 2주 동안 하루도 쉬는 날이 없이 계속 일을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 이제 늦으면 밥 거의 12시에 집에 들어오는 경우도 있고, 빠르면 평소에 퇴근 시간이겠지만, 진짜 너무 힘들어요. 이런 얘기는 이제 안 드리는 게 나을 것 같아서 안 했었는데, 그러다 보니까 이제 조금 일찍 들어와도 좀 쉬어야 된다든지, 그래서 게임을 켤 시간이 너무 없어서, 이 게임을 도대체 지금 몇 달째 잡고 있는지 모르겠어요. 그래서 좀 유튜브 추세를 봐도 그렇고, 좀 제가 아무래도 본업에 지금 집중하는 시기다 보니까 유튜브에 조금 소홀하게 되다 보니, 그런데다 이제 이 호라이즌은 못해도 한 2시간 언저리? 짧아도 1시간 반 이상은 이제 워낙 플레이 타임이 긴 게임이다 보니까 짧게 올리면 오히려 좀 애매할 것 같아서 2시간이 너무 좀 부담스러우실 것 같고, 그래서 2시간 언저리로 이렇게 일부러 편집을 하고 있었거든요. 그러니까 그 분량 채우기가 너무 힘든 거예요. 이제 와서 조금씩 하는데, 이제 또 후반부다 보니까 메인캐 전에 약간의 사이드 퀘스트? 이런 거는 웬만하면 이제 스킵을 하려고 그러고, 그리고 막 무기 같은 것도 막 전설 얻었는데 업그레이드 안 하기는 좀 아까우니까, 그래서 제가 개인적으로 막 파밍하고 이러려다 보니까 녹화하기는 애매하고, 이래서 누락되는 그게 있다 보니까 업로드 시기가 굉장히 좀 많이 예전보다 지체되고 있는데, 그거는 조금 그런 상황이고요. 5월 한 중순 정도부터는 예전 정도의 패턴은 아니겠지만 조금씩 이제 좀 더 업로드가 짧아질 수 있지 않을까라고 예상을 하고 있긴 한데, 제가 지금 수업도 듣고, 제가 지금 본업 일도 하고 있고, 또 여러 가지 다른 준비를 하는 게 있다 보니까 아무래도 조금 유튜브에 할애하는 시간이 예전보다는 조금 줄어들고 있다 보니까, 제가 이 게임을 하는 거 자체가 저의 유일한 스트레스를 푸는 그런 용도인데, 용도로 하기엔 좀 그렇긴 하지만 이제 그런 취미 활동인데, 그래서 이제 유튜브도 아직까지는, 앞으로는 잘 모르겠긴 하겠지만, 이제 취미 생활을 함께 공유하고자 하는 연장선상으로 하고 있는 건데, 이게 제가 좀 바쁜 시기가 있다 보니까 영 소홀해지는, 그래서 저도 요즘 스트레스를 풀지 못해서 정말 미쳐버릴 것 같아요, 여러분. 그래서 조금씩 이제 느려질 수도 있고, 일단 최대한 호라이즌을 마무리를 하고 제가 지금 기대하고 있는 게임 중에 하나가 5월 초에 짱구 게임이 있는데 그 게임이 출시가 된다고 하더라고요. 그래서 그런 힐링일지 아닐지는 모르겠지만 또 제가 요즘 막 그렇게 AAA급 게임 대작이라고 해야 되나요? 그런 거는 한두 개는 이미 놓치긴 했고요. 이제 제가 하려고 해도 시기를 너무 놓쳐버리는 바람에 또 AAA급 게임은 플레이 타임도 어느 정도 확보가 돼야 되다 보니까 일부러 손 안 댄 것도 있긴 해요. 네, 이것도 마무리를 짓지 못한 상황에서 다른 걸로 손대면 좀 그렇긴 하니까 그럼에도 불구하고 정말 뭐 아직까지도 저의 유튜브를 찾아주시는 분들께는 제가 정말 삼보일배를 해야 될 정도로 감사한 마음을 가지고 있다는 점 알아주셨으면 좋겠고요. 그래서 이번 편은 아마 평소보다는 조금 플레이 타임이 좀 적게 업로드가 될 수도 있을 것 같아요. 왜냐면 제가 5월 초까지는 좀 정신이 많이 없을 것 같아서 그래서 조금 뭐랄까요? 그래도 아예 안 올리고 이러고 있는 것보다는 그래도 짧게라도 올리는 게 낫지 않을까 싶어서 편집을 좀 짧게라도 올릴 예정이긴 하거든요. 그래서 정말 양해 말씀 부탁드리고요. 최대한 빨리 이 게임도 마무리를 짓도록 하겠습니다. 이렇게 뻘소리도 길게 했고 가보도록 하겠습니다.
Hey, Alva. I'm in landfall. Can you meet me here?
I'll be there as soon as I can. Aloy! I'm here. Had to sneak past a few machines on the way, but I made it.
All right. Ready to talk to that diviner?
Yes. He's right over there.
Diviner Alva, what are you doing back in Landfall? And with the living ancestor?
We're looking for the At-Bay Research Center, where Leviathan was developed. The legacy tells us it's somewhere in the city.
Alva mentioned you've been collecting data in the area. Do you know where it is?
Yes, I stumbled across it, but there was no data there, only crumbling ruins.
Tell us anyway. We might be able to find something you missed.
Please, don't trouble yourself. I assure you, our search was very thorough.
You're hiding something.
What? That is absurd. A diviner must only speak truth, as you're well aware.
Oh, you're worried you found something dangerous. Something compromising on Eileen Sasaki?
Keep your voice down.
Look, I get it, Nirik. You want to make it back to your family, so it's safer to turn a blind eye. But think of Leviathan. How it could help everyone. Isn't that why we're here? Don't let fear deny us that.
Very well. The facility's just south of here, along the shore. But even if you find a way to fix Leviathan, it's sure to be shrouded in that which is forbidden.
Too often the truth is forbidden. Come on, let's go.
이 친구야 여기 나 사이드캐어 뭐 하나 생겼어. 뭘까?
Ancestor, please. It's about my brother.
아, 왜 이렇게 뒤늦게 뒷북치시는 거죠? 자, 아까 한참 사이드캐어 모아서 얘기하고 있었는데.
Take me through it.
Apologies. My name is Jomar. I'm the weapons officer for this expedition.
이것도
It's
모르는
my
소리라
job to
그런
ensure
게
the troops are
이
armed
게임
and
사이드캐가
prepared for what's out there.
재밌어요.
And I've
복붙이
tried to do
아니야.
so. My younger brother Oris, his unit was sent to scout the tower on the northern side of the island. They should have returned by now. The Overseer has denied my request for a search party, and defying him would mean dismissal. Or worse.
You think they might be alive?
Oris has been obsessed with San Francisco ever since I can remember. He jumped at the chance to join this expedition. I have to believe that fate isn't cruel enough to make this place his tomb. If you help me, I'll get you access to any weapon in my stock.
If I make my way up north, I'll look for your brother.
Thank you. If it helps, my brother carried an ancestral relic with him. I believe your focus might be able to pick it up.
What kind of relic?
A small metal piece dangling from a chain with a hologram of San Francisco, which is why my brother always had it with him. The diviners speculated it was some kind of beacon, inviting the ancestors to visit the city.
Speculated. So there was data on it they couldn't read.
It was deemed lost knowledge. If my brother truly is gone, could you maybe bring the relic back for me? It meant so much to Oris. I'd like to keep it safe. For him.
Of course.
그런데다 이게 사이드캐를 주는 사람들이 여기다 다른 게임에 비해서 되게 젠틀해요. 되게 다른 데서는 뻔뻔하거든요. 그냥 해줘 이런 느낌인데 여기는 부탁드려도 될까요? 막 이런 또 사이드캐 또 있네 이 말 끝나기 전에. 그래서 내가 좀 요즘 힘들어서 그런지 좀 마음에 약해지는 게 있는 것 같아. 뭔데요? 뭐가 힘드시죠?
We'll find a way home.
Harriam, we're never getting that gyro compass back. We're stuck here. For good.
The ancestor reborn.
May we be led to truth.
Just, Aloy, what's this I hear about you never going back home?
Our navigational ships.
They're all gone. Destroyed by storms and reefs, and with them the one instrument we need to guide us across the ocean.
There is one ship that might still hold a working gyro compass.
But it's beyond our reach, beached on an island surrounded by deadly currents. No compass, no way home, no way back to those we should have never left behind in the first place.
Christia.
You mentioned you left someone behind?
My wife, Neandra. She works the field in the Great Delta. When I was chosen for this mission, she begged me not to come. She was scared I wouldn't return. And like always, she was right. I left without saying goodbye, and now I won't
님들이 애매하게
see her
된
again.
걸 제가 좀 더 수습해드려야 되는 거죠? 늘 그렇듯이?
So you two are soldiers?
Navigators, actually. I'm Harriam, and this is Christia.
So you two know how to use this instrument?
The gyro compass. Only I know how to read it. The diviners trained me. Harriam was
또
chosen to
혼자만 안다
memorize the
이러면
charts
안
found
도와줄
in
수
the legacy.
없거든요.
So you can't
그래서
navigate the
사람이
fleet
참
without each
능력이
other?
있어야 돼.
It is the Quen Way. The greater the knowledge held by one person alone, the greater the risk will be
아니었으면
used against
팽당했을
the
텐데.
Empire, should we be captured by our enemies.
Your tribe sure is cautious. So what is this gyro compass you're looking for?
It's a device used by the ancestors to help pinpoint a ship's location. But it only works if the readings are compared to a chart.
How'd you get your hands on something like that?
I guess it's safe to tell you since you carry the gift of the ancestors. The diviners found them on ancient vessels back in our homeland and modified them so we could use them on our ships. Without them, we're at the mercy of the seas.
You said what you need is on a ship somewhere.
Yes. The ship we were stationed on. The night we approached landfall, a sudden squall hit the fleet. While some ships managed to find safe harbor here, ours ran aground. The crew abandoned ship, hoping the ocean would spare us.
I thought we'd drown for sure. Thank the ancestors we somehow got washed up on a beach southwest of here. Scouts found us and brought us to landfall. Not that it matters. The only ship with the gyro compass is grounded and surrounded by deadly currents.
Maybe I can help.
Not unless you can fly.
I can't do that. But if I find a way, I'll come back.
이러면 이제
She's an
비행할
ancestor
수 있는
reborn. Maybe she really can.
전환을 할 수 있어야
I
된다는
will
얘기인 것
not let
같은데.
myself hope just yet.
근데 저 할 수 있거든요.
Thank you
아마 그
for your
가마솥
kindness.
중에 비행기계 전화할 수 있는 게 있었을 텐데. 근데 왜 중단이죠? 아, 시빈의 날개가 그 뭐죠? 그 무기 얻는 걸로 되는 게 아니구나. 그렇군요.
Don't think I can get to that ship. At least, not now.